Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost. Well, just hours ago, President Biden won the South Carolina Democratic primary, barely edging out his closest rival, Time.
President Biden said that the National Guard should not be called in to deal with campus protests, but I'm just happy that he's finally not sending military aid somewhere.
It's a nice place.
Oh.
At a White House ceremony honoring the WNBA champion Las Vegas Aces, President Biden mistakenly called player Candace Parker one of the greatest all-time coaches. Worse, he thought this woman was their point guard.
Nearly 100,000 pounds of sliced prosciutto is being recalled for not being inspected properly, which is weird because I thought prosciutto inspector was just an Italian slur for gay. Prosciutto inspector?
At a campaign rally, former President Trump said he would debate President Biden anytime, any place. And then he pointed to an empty podium on the stage. And now Trump and Biden are both polling 80 points behind the podium. In a new interview, Donald Trump also claimed that President Biden was high on cocaine during the State of the Union, saying he was all jacked up at the beginning. By the end, he was fading fast. It almost sounds like Donald Trump knows exactly what it feels like to be on cocaine. You know, like at the beginning, you've got a lot of energy.
A growing number of black men feel like the Trump and Biden campaigns are not actually trying to forge true relationships and just want their votes. Yeah. During a new interview with ABC News, Steve Bannon called himself the voice of MAGA and also the face of gout.
But then, by the end, you're fading fast.
Just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.
A new poll shows President Biden and Donald Trump are tied in a hypothetical 2024 rematch, though they're both running 50 points behind. Kill me. Oh, boy. President Biden said that he supports a bill that would allow the government to ban TikTok, but only because Biden thinks TikTok is a gang member from his old neighborhood. Hey, President Biden made a drastic change in his immigration policy, saying he would be willing to shut down the border if given the power by Congress. It's the kind of unexpected shift in direction Biden usually only makes in the middle of a sentence. The Biden campaign is trying to appeal to black voters as polls show their support for Biden has declined. It's getting so bad, he now only has support from Obama's white half.
After new polls show Donald Trump leading Joe Biden, Democratic strategists are calling Biden's re-election campaign a five-alarm fire, which is scary for Biden because in a fire, you have to use the stairs.
Nikki Haley has launched a series of campaign ads targeting both Donald Trump and Joe Biden called Grumpy Old Men. Okay, but at least they're men. Chicago became the largest U.S. city to call for a ceasefire in Gaza, and in return, Gaza called for a ceasefire in Chicago.
It was reported that President Biden's campaign ended its January fundraising with $56 million in the bank. Now, if he can only remember his ATM code. While boarding Air Force One this week, Biden narrowly avoided tripping and falling on the stairs again, and instead did a forward roll before inviting everyone inside the chocolate factory.
A Virginia man who pranks people for YouTube videos was shot while tricking someone in a mall. Good. A 106-year-old woman in the Philippines has become the oldest Vogue cover model ever, beating the previous record of 29.
President Biden, seen here giving the eulogy at a pimp's funeral, formally approved new legislation that will guarantee federal protections for same-sex and interracial marriages in a signing ceremony held over my grandpa's dead body. Donald Trump posted an image of Nikki Haley made up to look like Hillary Clinton. And honestly, I couldn't tell if it was bad Photoshop or a good picture of Mark Cuban in a wig. Pope Francis called for a ban on surrogate motherhood, which he says violates the dignity of the woman and the child. Plus, the Catholic Church doesn't want extra kids around while they're trying to quit.
A white student at the University of Kentucky was arrested after she was caught on video using a racial slur and assaulting 2 black students. She has been charged with 1 count of impersonating a police officer.
The U.S. government hit its debt limit on Thursday, and the country now risks defaulting on its bills. And look, we've all been there, you know. You spend too much because life's too short, then the bill comes due, the bank won't loan you money anymore. Then you have no choice. You have to buckle down, face the music, and blow up your Staten Island ferry for insurance money.
What? The Postal Service announced a new stamp honoring the late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. There's also a stamp honoring Clarence Thomas that says, "Flip me over and start licking."
I don't get it. RuPaul harshly criticized lawmakers who support banning drag shows, calling them stunt queen politicians. And let me just say, hallelujah, girl. I gotta serve realness on this one. These dusty breeders are resting on ugly, and I am gagging on it.
King Charles will visit Kenya next week, where he is expected to acknowledge Britain's role in the slave trade and unfortunately attempt to return Meghan. I just report the news, guys.
I'm glad I didn't tell it. And I'm sorry, guys, before the show, I switched from red to champagne.
Sam Bankman-Fried, the former CEO of the cryptocurrency company FTX, was arrested on fraud charges in the Bahamas. I'm going to guess while swimming in a T-shirt. Prosecutors allege that Bankman-Fried took funds from FTX customers to make large political donations. That money will now be used to make sure the cameras outside his jail cell aren't working.
Senator Rick Scott, seen here learning that Harry Potter has fallen into his trap, announced that he is running for re-election, promising to finish the border wall and name it after Donald Trump, even though most things named after Donald Trump are complete failures. CNN has announced that due to budget cuts, they are scaling back on original series and documentaries. Yeah, apparently there was a flaw with the business model of giving Stanley Tucci millions of dollars to eat gelato. A zoo in Atlanta will allow visitors to carry firearms. So you want to try laughing at me again, monkeys?
Pope Francis criticized laws banning homosexuality as unjust, saying that it's not a crime, even though Catholic doctrine views homosexuality as a sin. He also stressed that Catholic doctrine views age as nothing but a number. Georgia Senate candidate Herschel Walker denied reports that he paid for a girlfriend's abortion, saying, "I send money to a lot of people," before adding, for abortions. After the news broke that Walker paid for his ex-girlfriend's abortion, he raised more than $500,000 because dollars are the only thing Walker is willing to raise.
Michigan State apologized after an image of Adolf Hitler appeared on a stadium video board at a football game. Even more upsetting, it was during the kiss cam. Southwest Airlines has introduced a new feature on its app that lets passengers track their bags. Southwest, why don't you tell us where your bag is?
Police in Florida say that multiple shots were fired during a fight outside a Chuck E. Cheese, but there were no victims located. Maybe check the pizza? Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene revealed that her husband has filed for divorce after 27 years of marriage. He officially blamed irreconcilable differences for the split, while she blamed the Jews. After Dwayne Johnson complained that a wax figure of him at a museum in France had the wrong skin tone, the museum has attempted to darken the statue, but unfortunately it melted in the tanning bed. A man in Utah was ordered to remove a Halloween decoration of a skeleton pole dancing, and I'm sorry, but that just looks like every white strip club to me.
Biologists in Florida are warning that the Jesus Christ lizard, named for its ability to run on water, could spread harmful diseases to humans. They hope to control the population by introducing a Pontius Pilate lizard.
That's sweet.
The world's oldest dog ever has died at the age of 31. And some experts believe it could have lived even longer if I had looked before backing out of the driveway. And a new report finds that Vermont is the safest state in America for, like, you know, us.
A California man has set a new world record by visiting Disneyland for 2,995 consecutive days, but still no sign of his kid. A new study... I tried to plow right through. A new study finds that married men live a longer, healthier life. Yeah, but for what? New research suggests that Viagra can help lower a man's chances of developing Alzheimer's by 60%, thanks to an effect researchers are calling post-nut clarity.
হ্যালো, দেখতে পাচ্ছেন খুব সুন্দর একটা ড্রয়িং। এই ড্রয়িংটা আপনি চাইলে খুব সহজে করে ফেলতে পারবেন মাত্র কয়েকটি রং পেন্সিল ব্যবহার করে। কীভাবে ড্রয়িংটা করবেন, কী কী রং পেন্সিল লাগবে, এই ভিডিওতে আমরা আপনাদের সাথে শেয়ার করব। অবশ্যই ভিডিওটা মনোযোগ সহকারে দেখুন এবং সবার সাথে শেয়ার করতে ভুলবেন না। ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে।
জানাম্মা, তোমার ছেলে কিন্তু আজকে হাক্কা করে নাই। তোমার ছেলে আজকে হাক্কা করে নাই। কি কইতেছ? আমি কি কইছি গত? না, তোমার ছেলে আজকে হাক্কা করে নাই।